This is Mr. Alvey, and I'm going to be showing you how to create effects on layers. So one year I decided to put lasers behind my picture for the school photo, and I thought I'd show you the process that I use to do that, and that will help us demonstrate on how to create effects. So here's kind of where I came from with this. Oops, what is going on there? As you can see, I went from this picture to lasers, yay! And I used special FX, that's what FX stands for. We're going to see how to do that. So I'm going to show you that with, I'll start from scratch with Mr. Warner. Now the image I got wasn't very high quality from the website, so I'm going to have to grow this. Free transform. I'm just gonna, let's see, if I hold down shift I won't lose any. There we go. Make them tall enough, and then I'll just kind of fill it in. So I need to fill in the sides here, and I'll use the clone stamp tool that we used in a previous lesson. Make it smaller, set an anchor, and then I can kind of just color in more of the background. Okay, maybe try a little bit with his shirt here. Won't even notice. It's a little wonky, but it won't be the focal point of the picture, and so you probably won't even notice. Okay, and I'll go ahead and finish the other side. Okay, I got this filled in. So the original reason I did this, and I'm making it into a square, is for avatars that I use on lots of different applications, and they required it to be square, so I made it into a square. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I need to use my quick select tool, and I'm going to highlight the teacher. So I'm highlighting the teacher, and I want to focus on the background. I'm going to give it a nice bright background. So I want to mask out the teacher. So we'll do layer, layer mask, and hide the selection. Okay, so now I have one layer, and it's hiding his face. And so now I'm actually also going to duplicate this layer so I don't lose this image if I ever need to go back to it. And I'm going to take this layer, and I'm going to go to image, adjustments, and brighten up the background. Just colorize it, and let's see, I had a bright blue background with green lasers, so maybe Mr. Warner wants a bright. He wants purple lasers, and maybe he'll get a nice orange, yeah. Nice orange, bright orange background. That'll be good. So that was just using the hue and adjustments, or sorry, the hue, yeah, image, adjustments, hue and saturation to create that background. Okay. Now I need to make a layer for the lasers. So down here at the bottom of the layers palette, I'm going to create a new layer, And I'm going to draw some lines with the paintbrush. And I want this to be white. We're going to go with white. And this is where I choose the thickness of my layer with my brush. Kind of smallish. I'm just going to start at the bottom. Now if you click once and hold down Shift, the next place you click it'll draw a straight line to it. Bing. See that? I'm just going to start at the center each time. And draw a few lasers. Bing. Bing. So now I have one layer that just has a bunch of white lines in it. So you can see, oh, you can't see that. I just have a bunch of white lines. And so what we're going to do here, this is the important part, is we're going to add effects. Now the best way to turn on the effects palette and be able to make some effects choices is you take a blank part of a layer. You don't want to click on the words because if you click on the words it'll just let you edit the layer. Maybe I'll change the name. Lasers. Double click somewhere on the layer and it'll open up this layer style palette. Wow. And I practiced this before I started doing this. What's going to be best here is if we do an outer glow. Okay. So I'm going to check that and then I have to select that so I get the properties for the outer glow here, and I need to change the properties a little bit. I don't want to do a screening mode. I'm just going to do normal color mode, and I'm going to change the glow to, I think I want to do a purple lightsaber, or light laser lightsaber. Let's do like a nice purple color. There we go. And then for the elements, I'll do softer, and I'm going to spread about 5 and get the size up to about whatever looks good. Change the spread a little bit higher. Okay, just till your lasers look cool. And I'm noticing how it goes up against the background. That's what I'm going for. All right, so I'm change the settings for the outer glow. I like that, and then I say OK, and it applies it. Now you can see on your layer that it says FX on it after you've applied some effects, some layer effects, and it always shows which effects have been applied, and they have a little eyeball next to them. Anything with an eyeball is something that you can close the eyeball and it will not show it anymore, so I can see what it would look like without the effect. Okay. So now I got some lasers. They're looking cool. So now the next step is I want to put a picture of Mr. Warner on top of it. Maybe style his shirt some more, so I'm going to duplicate this layer again. Put that on top here. Okay, so this mask is not what I want. And then we're going to take that layer mask, and I'm just going to delete that mask because I want to do a different one. And I'm going to show you another cool way you can add a mask, which is a really cool way. We're going to go to the select menu, and we're going to say select and mask. And this time we want to mask. The background and show Mr. Warner there. So there's lots of ways to view this. We have onion skin. That's probably the best way I'll do it. Make sure I have plus. This is the quick selection tool, and I just kind of paint on where I want to show, and you can see with the onion skin that it's working out. Okay, there's different views you can see. Overlay, you get to see. Oh, need to add a little bit more on the ear there. There we go. So this is a more visual way of adding a mask to see how it's going to look. This is what it's going to end up looking like. Got stuff on the edges, but that's my other mask. We'll have to clean that up later. We could kind of fill in some of the parts there. Oh, too much. And then there's also some extra stuff you can have here, like smoothing out the edges so it's not so sharp. Maybe adding a little bit of a feather. Also smooths out the edge. Shift the edge a little bit. Helps you play with the selection. When I say OK, I should have a good mask. Good. So now I've created the mask. I masked out the gray background so I can see through to my bright background. And now let's see, clean up. I'm going to clean up this mask here around the edges. So remember, a mask, black makes it go away, so I'm going to paint with black. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Maybe we wanted white. Makes things stay. There we go. Around the edges, just clean up that edge. There we go. Alright, now the next thing I want to do is to color his shirt to maybe match the layers a little bit better. Okay, so I'm just going to select his shirt. Now, you got to be careful not to select the mask when you're doing this. I want to go back to the image because I want to change the actual pixels. Now, there's better ways to do this so you don't destroy the image, but we gotta back up here. I'm gonna take the shirt, select the shirt, just the shirt. Okay. Maybe get the edges a little bit. Don't be too much of a perfectionist. There we go. Okay, so just the shirt. Oh, a little too much there. And then I'm going to go to Image, Adjustments, and play with Hue Saturation again. Colorize his shirt. And maybe make it, see if I can find a nice purple. I'm going to increase the saturation so it's nice and bright. Yeah. Darken it up so it looks all red. Oh, nice. Right there. Okay, I'm liking it. So now I got a shirt all bright colored. Command D to deselect. Okay. So now we've got Mr. Warner with lots of lasers. And there's probably more we could do to it, but that's what I wanted to show you. Make sure you understand how to apply effects to a layer by double-clicking on it and using the layer styles, and lots of ways to use masks, including the select mask. That's a really fun one. All right. So I'll have a task for you to put lasers onto a picture and give it a shot. Thanks. When you're finished, always remember to go to File, Photoshop. Go to File, Export, and then do a quick export to PNG so you can turn it in. And then also remember to save your file as a PSD so you can go back and make changes to it if you need to. That's the working Photoshop file. So remember to save both of those.